Okay, for part 3 of our How To with Harris Autocrat edition, you can see that I am in your transition second year spreadsheet where all of the responses from the Google form are collected. The add-on Autocrat right here is what we're going to use to generate those individual student reports. It's important before you actually go into Autocrat and set up the job that will run to know a couple of things. And that is, you need to have a folder somewhere in your Google Drive that it's going to put all of these individual things into. And so it's easier to create that before you start. So my suggestion is, before we even set up the form, is to come over into Google Drive, wherever you keep those things, create a new folder. I'm going to name this one Transition Year 2. And it doesn't have anything in it yet, but it will by the time we're done with our folder. But because we have created this folder, it makes answering a question in the setup for Autocrat you'll see in a minute, a lot easier. I would also take that template that you've made, and remember I named it Transition Year 2 Template. You can see it down there. I'm going to take that template and I'm also going to move it into the folder where that we just created, and I'm accidentally opening the wrong things here. Now you can see where I dragged and dropped it. Here's the Transition Year 2 template. This is the folder, and just to organize things, I'm going to put that template in this folder. I purposely keep the names close to each other with a difference. So the folder's Transition 2, the template's Transition Year 2 template. So I don't have to think really hard when I run it a month after I've set it up. The names are kind of telling me what I need to look for. Hopefully that part makes sense. Once you've got a folder set up in your drive that the things can go to, we're ready to come over here and actually do Autocrat now. So we've set that up. We come back to the Google spreadsheet. We have the add-on installed. If you don't have it installed, you're just going to come down to Get Add-on. You're going to search for Autocrat, add it in, and now you're ready to open. The very first time you reset this up, you're going to have to tell it all of the little things. So in the document we made where we did those merge tags with the greater than, less than symbols, we're going to have to tell Autocrat how to match those things up. So you can see right here, we don't have any merge jobs set up yet. So we're going to do a new job. We need to name the job. Again, I name everything the same thing. I'm going to name the job that we're going to have it run Transition Year 2. Now this isn't creating a file. It's naming the program, the specific Autocrat program we want it to run. So give it the name. We'll hit next. And you're going to have to choose a template. You're going to choose the template that you just created that had all those merge tags in it. Since I played with this earlier to make sure it was going to work, Transition Year 2 template is already coming up. But if you didn't, let's say you're doing this on your waiver ones, it wouldn't necessarily come up. So you would just go to From Drive and search for whatever you named the waiver one. In this case, since I named that template Transition Year 2, since it's the most recent thing I did, I can just click on that and select. And if you give it just a little bit of time, you'll see that right here where it says no template selected, there it goes and it pops up with the template that you want to use. Once this area has populated, you click next. And now we need to map the things. So the Autocrat is reading this merge tag from our document, maps to this column in the spreadsheet. Student name map to student name, student code to student code, grade to grade. Don't make the assumption because the first ones you see are all matching up nicely that they all will. And I'm about to show you this. So I made some mistakes when I was typing them in. and Autocrat couldn't automatically merge it. So you'll see school to school. Here, if I've got one teacher, but if I come here to maps to column in the spreadsheet, it was actually classroom teacher in the spreadsheet. And I select it, and now that's merged. Date to date. You want to check all of these fields. Follows oral directions, follows orals. Comprehends class directions, comprehends. So I see you probably get the point that we're just going to scroll down and find the empties. Converses with classmates in academic social situations. You can see this one didn't map. So we are going to try to figure out which one it is, and it's that one. So we're going to select it and go on. Answers questions appropriately. This was the comments section. And since this is listening and speaking comments, it's just listening and speaking over there in that field. Comprehend skill sheets independently. There they are. Comprehends vocabulary in new context. There we are. Writes appropriately for grade level. There we go. Reading and writing comments is just reading and writing. Behaves appropriately, demonstrates effort, works on grade level. Work habits comments. So I'm going to have to search for work habits. There they are. And then additional comments right there. And that's the last field. So we have mapped from our merge document, where these merge tags are, to the column titles in the spreadsheet. And we hit next. Now you're going to have to give the files a name. So if you think back to the transition one, how I named those files that show up, you can name them however you want, but this little blue tab over here is really helpful. And if you pop it out, these are all of the merge tags, if you scroll down, that you had. And what I decided, since you had so many that you were doing a backlog, is the easy thing would be to name it by student name. So when I clicked on student name, it copied it to the clipboard. And if you click in the file name field and do Control V, it places that merge tag in there. But because you have multiples on different dates for a student, or you have, let's say that you had Eddie Medrano, but you had him one for November and one for January, I decided that it would be also a good idea to hit a space to come back over to this field and pull the date. So again, you would put the cursor in there, Control V, and it's going to place the date. So now it might be Eddie Medrano December 1st. The next one could be Eddie Medrano January 23rd, whatever the dates are filled out. So you would have that as a fail-safe. You can leave these as a Google Doc. You can make them a PDF. I just left them as a document. That's your choice. I did do these as multiple documents so that each individual entry on the row here, over here in your spreadsheet, got a different document instead of putting them all into one. You can do it either way. I just chose, for the ease of the setup, to do multiples. The rest of this will work the same. We click next. Choose the destination folder. And this is why we created the folder in Drive first. So we're going to do choose the folder. Generally, the most recent things that you've created pop up. So if I hover, I can see that this is the transition year 2. If you weren't sure, just type it up here to search for it. But I know that's transition year 2, so I'm going to select it. You can see the name populates up. We hit next. Dynamic folder reference, you don't need, so click next. Set merge conditions, just hit next. Nothing to do. There's nobody for you to send docs or emails with, so you're going to do no. You're the only one that sees these. You're not going to have anything for 9 for adding and removing triggers. You want to leave those as no's, and then you click save. And it takes a little bit of time to save. And I'm going to end the video here as soon as it saves, and I'll pick up with the next one in just a minute.